My dad needs to take my place.
Okay. Well, hopefully it recorded and at least it'll pop up later. But okay. Okay. So we're entering the spot females. We've got 2 entries here. We got Madeline Shireman and Parker Morris entering the ring. Olivia.
Yet there's one that's a stouter feature gilt that's more mobile off of her feet and out of her feet and leg placement. She is the stouter, bigger-footed, stouter-boned one. She's not as round-muscled about her, in my opinion. Yes, she has a fair amount of muscle working within her skeleton. Young man's going to have her champion. The second in reserve is one that's very shapely, got a great big arm, and she is absolutely loaded. In a breeding gilt class, I'd prefer to make this one a little deeper in her rear flank, not have her wound up quite as much as she goes away from you in terms of muscularity. Probably help her athleticism just a little bit as well. Congratulations, both these exhibitors.
All right, so our results for our spot gilts were Parker Morris with the champion and Madeline Shireman as reserve. And looks like, Olivia, you're going to get swapped out for your father.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to have Doug Krieger join us. I'll introduce him here in just a second as we're flipping mics. And we're going to start our first class of Yorkshire females with gilts born between January 8th and January 17th. Those exhibitors are Olivia Wechter, Max Templeton, and Hudson Muckerhide. Can you hear me? Interesting. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? More? More? That should be it. That's as high as it goes. So, I don't know what is wrong with your... How about now?
I can barely hear you.
Huh?
I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit better.
How about now? Interesting. Okay. It's live now. Okay. I don't... You can. Yeah. Thank you. Doug, I don't know what is the problem. I'm going to keep commentating. Can you maybe just throw one back so you can hear me talk? And you can. It's recording your mic. It's just not. I don't know why your headset's not working.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm joined here with Doug Krieger. So, Doug, I guess talk to the viewers about your involvement in 4-H and I guess your tenure and your 2 kids now 10-year and 8 years in 4-H.
10 year and 8.
So we can discuss that and what it's meant for you and.
Yeah, I showed beef and hogs pretty much all through 4-H. The hog part was started when I was a little kid. I still got my original picture from my first show at home and loved it. The best I ever did is I thought I was going to get grand champion gilt, but the 2 Wilkinson boys beat me.
So Spencer and Stan.
Spencer and Stan, yep.
Okay,
Spencer and Stan.
We're going to join. We're going to have.
Obviously, we got 3 different sizes. I'm just going to be honest. I'm breaking them down in terms of skeleton and density and the most totals. And yet our class winner does not come without flaw. I would personally like to strengthen her front passer, and I'd like to make her vulva bigger, to be honest with you. And I'm not, we've had small vulva gilts breed just fine AI in the past and into the future, I'm sure. But that is 2 flaws I would do with the young lady's gilt that we need to talk about personally just a little bit. she still is the wide-chested one, the square straight and at her knee, change her front feet, and that would make her hit a little different. That's a big forearm and a great big center rib, great big hip. She's appears to be one that's been extremely healthy and growthy. I do like that. On the contrary, the next comfortable one, the one that I think that you can go home, let her mature into something. She's got a great big forearm working in her. She's got the better of the two remaining hind legs here within this particular class. She's not as high performing, but she has as much spread through the center of her chest into her forearm. She's a bigger pin gilt that still handles her hind leg. Would I make her front passenger stronger? Would I like to see her a little bit higher in growth rate? Absolutely, both those. But the blue checkered is going to be second here. The bigger outlined of these three, of the bottom pair is going to be right here. I like the side design to this one. Her foot gets a little frailer in comparison. She tracks the narrowest coming and going of the three for her size for me. But in terms of a side design, real good. I like that about her. I like that one's skull extremely well. We just need to stouten her up and widen her up in her body.
Placings on Class 11 Yorkshire Gilts. First will be Olivia Wechter. Second will be Hudson Muckerhide. And third would be Knox Templeton. We are now ready to judge Class 12 Yorkshire Gilts. There's been 2 additions. Henry Dwinger and Jack Dwinger will also be in this class, so there will be 4 in the Yorkshire December Gilt class.
All right, Doug. Now that we got your headset figured out, so you were involved in 4-H. Did you show beef and swine all 10 years, or?
Beef wasn't all 10 years. As we got a little older, we got a little busier at home on the farm, and beef just took a lot of time, so we just went to just the swine part of it, just for a time management.
Okay, yeah, beef definitely. You get them in the fall, and you don't get to show them till July, so they take quite a bit of time, quite a bit of everything else.
Genetics is phenomenal anymore, what these pigs have. It's unreal. It's super exciting to see these young kids out here. I really enjoy this.
Yeah. So you've got Olivia and Brad both in 4-H currently.
Yes. Each show one pig apiece. We show a couple more,
Okay, so looks like we've got this class of Yorkshire female. So back when you were showing, we didn't actually show anything by breed, correct?
no, I think it was basically all by weight.
Okay.
Wasn't necessarily by breed. And I think back then there just wasn't near the numbers as far as
A top pair and a bottom pair within the class, and I'm going to talk about maybe more reasons in a class of 4 than the actual placing. And I think that top pair are very nice. There's some trade-offs yet again, and one's a little sharper fronted, and the other one's really dense and really square at the ground. And honestly, she probably has a shot more muscle than I want, but literally she's the one that both ends of her skeleton stay 100% square for her. In this judge's opinion, young lady's going to win this class. Being pushed very hard by the bigger young boy out here in the blue shirt. Her right rear wants to set out just a little bit. She's not as high performing. She doesn't have quite as bold of center rib as what we have in the young ladies' gilt. Both of them are extremely high quality. Young man's is prettier in front of her blade. I do appreciate that. On this pair here, we're going to talk about just base width and opening them up through a forearm and center cage. This is third. The young man with the plaid shirt has that. There's more evidence of muscularity. There's more evidence of some foot and bone. That one's got a bigger forearm, a little more to the center portion of her body. She's not quite as hard there. I think that one's still got a great design about her. Sound enough on both of them here. I just see a little more foot bone and forearm action working in her. Then we have in the young man in the blue shirt to conclude the class. A really good looking one that he has there, really elegant in front of her blade. She comes the most base narrow of the 4 gilts that we've had out here. She's the flattest in the center portion of her rib. When you get off to the side of her, she's one of the very best here within this class, though.
Results of Class 12 Yorkshire Gilts. First was Jessa Wagner. Second, Klein Lowe. Third, Jack Dwinger. And fourth, Henry Dwinger. We're now ready to show for champion Yorkshire Gilt.
All right, so we've got the winner of Class 1, Olivia Wechter, and the winner of Class 2, Jessa Wagner, coming in here to show for champion Yorkshire female, which Olivia Wechter's Yorkshire female looks like she did pretty good on feet. If she weighs 318, actually outperformed the December the 20th Jessa Wagner's Yorkshire female, but 2 really nice representations of that breed. I mean, Chris is humming along here. It's only 11 o'clock. We started at a little after 10, so we've only been on the air for, let me look, an hour and 2 minutes. So, and we had I apologize for some of the people who were trying to tune into this live early. We had some internet problems, and we got it figured out, and now we're live, and we're joined here with Doug Krieger. If you missed that, our 2 earlier guests were Blaine Wagner, who is a 10-year member.
Young ladies have, and they're vying for champion honors. And I think that there again, I still am one that does totals, and everybody always asks, what's a judge like? What's a judge like? It's not what I like, it's what I don't like that's going to get you beat. And in this case, we're going to keep a pair of them together because of vulva size and front feet. The last 2 are going to be our champion reserve.
So the 2 out of class 2, Jessa Wagner is champion, and reserve is Klein Lowe. And if I know some of the guys that didn't join real early, but man, Chris is making a big point on front feet and soundness for sure. Yep. Yep, that's I agree. If that's what you like and that's what you want to sort them on, if you're staying consistent, you'll be pretty easy to follow the whole day. So we know what he likes here in the females. He likes a good-footed sound one, and he can add the extras on top of that, but he's starting at the ground and building what he likes, and I don't have a problem following that. So we're getting ready to start the crossbred females. We don't have 8, 11. We only got 15 crossbred females here. 4 classes. We're going to start in the lightweight class, 207 to 232. We've got Graydon Wiseman, Kylie Best, Brady Rubel, and Gwendolyn Gauk here in our crossbred female show to start us off. Doug, can you hear me? That's so weird. I just got a text from Steve. They couldn't hear you on the radio, so I was talking to empty space and getting an answer from somebody and agreeing with it. So I can hear you, but you can't hear me. I don't. We might have to get one of the radio girls over here to figure out what we've got a problem with, but I guess we'll figure that out later. Hopefully, maybe if Steve could text me back and let me know if we're if I can hear you now, or if they can hear you. So. I don't know. I guess we'll just play it by ear, I guess. So
Coming in a little bit now. You're kind of cutting in and out.
I can hear you really well. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm getting some sound out of you.
Okay. So I don't know what was wrong with the soundboard. I just kind of wiggled some cords around, and Steve
Okay,
just
I got you now.
Steve just texted me and said that everything's good now. So
Good.
All right. Well, apart from our technical difficulties, we I guess we're starting a crossbred show now, and like I'll repeat. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Steve, for letting us know that we were having a problem. I can't always tell what's going good and what's going bad here with this program, but we're back here in the Crossbred Gilt Show. Got 4 entries, two blue females and an all black one and a belted one. I don't really know a whole lot about any of these females. Brady Rubles is kind of part of your guys' string, right?
Yeah.
Do you know anything?
That
you know anything
pig
about
would've
her?
been a Schwarzentrooper pig. Yes.
Swords Troopers raised her, or
I'm not real sure on that.
Mason found her, or Trent found her?
Yeah, one of them found her probably. I don't think we had any crossbreds that color, but
Okay. Okay. I don't.
yeah, I believe this is Brady's first year also showing.
Oh, it is Brady.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's a cousin of the Schwarzentroopers.
Okay.
First year showing, so
We're gonna grab Chris here, and he's gonna tell us which one he likes and which one gets come back to show for champion crossbred female.
So Gilt's here, a class of 4, and yet kind of like that judging class, we have a couple of pairs, a top pair and a pair that are going to fall towards the bottom end of this class. And I'll just be honest, there's some severe trade-offs here for this judge. One square, and honestly, if you change one thing about her, she wins the class pretty easy, and it makes it pretty difficult for me because I like hogs that go north and south, and yet I like hogs that when you get off to the side of them that are tall, shouldered, and balanced. So one of them's not as balanced, and one of them's too wide behind and goes east and west, to be honest with you, for the judge. And so if you see him on the outside of the ring and you have your favorites, that's okay. But today, I'm doing something I really don't like to do in this class because she is the totals. I told you I was going to pick totals. You change one thing about this one, she does win the class. Young man's bluegilt's going to win the class, but that one's awfully east and west behind for me to like her big time. Everything else, front 2/3 of that one, skeleton's neat. She'd be better off. She wasn't kind of as hard muscled and out there. Maybe it'd help her hind legs some. This one coming in, I really liked young lady's bluegilt that's going to be in second. That one's still not as square-chested and square right at her knee as what we have in our class winner. She's more mobile and takes a longer stride from the rear. But she gets lower shouldered and a little higher rear flank, therefore balance falls out of the equation. I can't speak for nobody else, but I like a stress-free life. And good luck with that, a stress-free life. I don't know if any of you caught what I said. The only way you have stress-free life is have balance in your life. And it's important in here in the center of the ring is to have balance among these hogs. Their structure's better, everything's more uniform and just better in general. Then we get into a pair of gilts that are a little bigger frame, not as much to them, and yet amongst that pair, one's a little better sculled for this judge. She's a little fresher and younger appearing. She is the widest one right in the base of her chest, and that's the belted one here the young man has. Presented really nice. She's got a big forearm. She's got some muscularity working about her. She's more shapely at the top side of her blade. She shelves up there. She's very square going away from you. She doesn't have as much foot bone and muscle width as what we have in that pair of blues ahead, but a really nice, good design one in the belted gilt. The all black gilt over there is not as fresh in her appearance, appears to be a little older by her head there, gets a little less in the bottom part of her jaw. That's a very athletic one that's still good from the side. I'd like to freshen her up and widen her up at the ground, can make her move higher in the class. Challenging class put together. Congratulations, those kiddos.
All right, so your results for Class 13 are Brady Rubel, second Kylie Best, third Grady Weissman, and fourth Gwendolyn Gauk. See, you've got Class 14 crossbred females coming in the ring. They weigh from 247 to 267. Your entries are Casey Barker, Mason Morris, Blaine Wagner, who joined us earlier, and Madeline Shireman.
Last night, Madeline Shireman won county, born, bred, and raised with her gilt.
Oh yeah, that
So
red.
she's the one to watch.
Yeah, that red belted female.
Yeah.
But she performed really well last night in the county bred, born, and raised show. I guess we really didn't make any comments. Blaine and I and Olivia didn't really make any comments about that earlier. We'll see. We really haven't mentioned that throughout this. I kind of forgot about it, honestly. So yeah, we'll try to make a note of that here coming up in the mail show.
There were probably 12 or 14 of them last night in the county board and bred and raised.
Yep. So all of those pigs were born and bred in the county and then shown by a kid that lives in the county.
Correct.
So that's
yes.
That's a
Yes.
neat little thing that we do here in Decatur County that I really haven't seen it really in the hog show. It's more in the beef show, honestly,
Yeah,
that
yes.
you see a bred, born, and raised show. But way to promote raising hogs in the county and buying hogs from local breeders and
Correct.
things
Correct.
of that sort. And I know Steve mentioned earlier. So Blaine, shown here in the plaid shirt, he joined us to start the show off. I'll let everybody know that we did have an interview with our judge to start the show, and normally the show would be broadcasted by myself and my dad, but Dad had some circumstances that come up.
Put 4 gilts out here again, and when we put totals together, the one that's really good in terms of squareness of skeleton, she's more dense about her foot and bone work. She's still elevated fronted, got a very stout jaw about her. Square pin gilt that's got a big forearm and muscularity down her back. Everything goes north and south. The red belted gilt the young lady has going to win her class. That very nice gilt there to lead off with. Second one is one that catches your eye. She's very striking from the side, and that's going to be the blue gilt the young lady has. That thing's elegant in the front of her in front of her blade. Very sharp head, very pretty about that. She's not near as heavy structured about her front foot and bone work as what we have. Deviates a little bit at her knee. She's got a pretty tipped up vulva working within her as well, but it literally comes down to foot and bone and jaw there for her to move above the other one. I love the side design. I think that one's very neat. I love that hip and hind leg. However, she does pressure her right outside foot ever so slightly. Third goes to the true belted hog over here to my left in terms of having balance about elevation in relationship to length of body. One that's stronger about her foot and pasture, and she's leveler about her top line, a little taller about her shoulder than what we are going to conclude here within the class. The one we're going to conclude with potentially is as wide-chested, big a forearm, big hip, and as heavy-boned as we have here in the class. Need to strengthen her front pasture and square going away slightly. and make that one more elevated in relationship to her length of body. That is a big, broad, wide one. I like a little more elegance and design working in our females.
All right, so your placings for Class 14 crossbred females. The first place, Madeline Shireman. Second, Casey Barker. Third, Mason Morris. And fourth, Blaine Wagner. And to reiterate what Doug said earlier, that gilt is county bred, born, and raised. That won that class of Madeline Shireman's. So we've got Class 15 coming in. We've got Olivia Wechter, Brody Barker, and Jada Galt. Those gilts weigh between 280 and
Olivia
284.
Krieger. Wechter.
Not Olivia Wechter, Olivia Krieger.
Yeah.
I
I'm a little
apologize.
partial to that.
I apologize, Doug.
No, actually, Libby's gilt was Reserve County born and raised last night.
Gotcha.
So we got 2 classes in a row with county born and raised gilts.
That's yeah.
So
Yep. I'm glad you have that kind of memory of who was county bred, born, and raised, and we get to note that for the listeners here.
yeah. So looks like he's going to make his mind up pretty quick on this class.
Yep.
There may only be 3 gilts here within this class, but I think they place themselves fairly logically for this judge here. And young man's blue gilt's going to win the class. Coming out of the hole, I didn't look at her coming right out of the gate because I was still evaluating one there just a little. And yet at this one, striking. She's square, she's stout. She has some muscularity about her. Young man's got her fitted right and to a T. That one wins the class pretty easy. Second gets a little more of a trade-off for this judge. I do like length gilts that have some length and extension up front. For those that are young around here wanting to raise some pigs, there's going to be 3 things that will make you money raising baby pigs. They got to be good looking, they got to be heavy boned, and they got to have butt. If you don't have those 3 things, they will not bring big dollars. And so you can take that to the bank. I guarantee it's 100% true, and I bet you there's some black shirts on the other side of the ring would agree. With that, young lady right here has second. She's the long-fronted one here that's still stout in her feature. She's not heavier fronted or heavier bone than the gilt that's going to conclude the class. And I do like this third place gilt. There's places that she's very, very good and unique. That's a broad-shouldered one that's got muscularity, some foot in the bone. I need to make her sharper fronted.
Results of Class 15. First place, congratulations to Brody Barker. Second place, Olivia Krieger. And third, Jada Galt. We're now ready.
Let Merrill take the placings on that class because I already messed it up once and said Wechter instead of Krieger, so let him take that. So we're entering Class 16 crossbred gilts. We only have 2 females entered in this. They are Olivia Wechter and Ian Amrine.
Both are showing belted gilts.
Yep, both showing
Ian with the wider belted gilt.
very well presented crossbred females with 2 distinct styles. Oh, looks like we had a late addition here in Michael Kolpinski.
Kopinski?
Yep, Kolpinski's got a gilt in this class too. So I don't know what she weighs. Three gilts at the upper end of the weight range, that's for sure. Chris giving them the get them up and go motion, get them out, and let's see them really get out here and move.
This is one job I wouldn't want to have. I tell you what, sometimes when you have a group come out, you think any three of them could be the top pick.
Yep, any one of the three you think could maybe drill into that first slot, but Mr. Danner gets to sort out who he likes the best and gets to sort through a couple of really high quality crossbred females. This is probably the longest he's taken on a class today.
Definitely, he must be.
He's looking at him. He's got. I think he's down between Wechters and Kolpinski's for who's going to win this class, but he hadn't really made up his mind on which one he likes the best. Oh! I say that, and you're.
I don't apologize about taking time, and I don't care if we're doing a county fair or jackpot show or a state or national level. I want to get it right for the kids, and most judges will talk about we won't know who or remember who won the show 20 years from now. If you're the family that did not win the show that you thought you should have, and it was the crowd favorite, you still know that one. You will never personally forget the one you got beat with that you thought was legit. And there's 5 of them in our lifetime that we didn't win as a family, and yet when one guy has a microphone standing in the center of the ring and it's official at the end of the day, it's not like a basketball going through that hoop. This counts. This matters. It may be your county fair. Some don't think it's a big deal. I think it's a great big deal. It's important that I get this right. And where it's got to be the most right is within my heart. So I'm going to take that time, and I'm going to pick the ones that I like the best that my son or my daughter or my grandkids or the ones we want to put back in the herd for sows that we think make differences. Sometimes unique breeding pieces don't have to win hog shows. I'm not telling you our grand champions coming out of this class, but that's the reason I'm taking time here in this ring right now, because there's a pair of really nice gilts. Both these kids came to win this show today. I don't know if you're going to win the show yet or not. I just want to get this class right. The one that has the most value for me, I think she's the most secure in her feet and legs. She takes the most easy stride. She's not the biggest legged one. I think she's the most youthful one of this pair. Young lady, you have our class winner. You have the big-legged one, the really stout one. I want to see her go. She's the shortest tipped of that pair of gilts. She takes the shortest stride. She needs to go just a nickel more north and south, because from this angle, she takes it inside out ever so slightly. I want to change that about her. This one over here is kind of like that bicycle, just going around. Makes it easy. Young man going in third. His gilt gets caught in a buzzsaw. Nice job, young man. She gets cut in a buzzsaw because that's another really good gilt. Not a strong passer, not quite as flashy as that other pair. Very solid, very good gilt. Congratulations. Let's give him a great big round of applause, please.
Definitely took his time on that class.
Yeah, like he said, he's not saying that the gilt champion will come out of that, but I think he's hitting around.
Yeah,
he's hitting around. So
he's got a few females to pick from here that are pretty nice females. That there's 4 that are going to hit the ring here pretty quick. So you've got Class 1 crossbred females, Brady Rubel, Class 2, Madeline Shireman, Class 3, Brody Barker, and Class 4, Olivia Wechter. Those 4 are going to enter the ring here shortly, and Mr. Danner is going to let us know which one of those is going to be your champion crossbred, and then he potentially is going to bring in your second place in that class to compete for the reserve in your crossbred females. So you have And we got a little bit of everything. We got a belted pig. We got an almost all white gilt. Or no. I apologize. What? I don't know if you'd call her almost all white Barker's blue gilt. She's a blue saddleback with a spot in her back. You got a blue belted gilt in Brady Rubles, and then you've got a red belted gilt in Madeline Shireman's. So
Yes. Yep. Definitely be interesting to see if our county born and bred can win this or not.
yeah. So you got Brady Rubles hitting here. She's the smallest of the four going to be in here. I hope they let them in order of weight. So Rubles was 228. Shireman's was 247. Barker's is 282. And the champion, or the winner of class 4 is 312. So you've got decent set of weight between all three of those gilts. Almost 100 pounds between top and bottom in terms of what they weighed in at. I think he's going to take a minute for these, honestly.
Yeah, he's like he said, he wants to make sure he gets it right, so he's going to take his time when it comes to picking the crossbred champ.
Oh, here we go. That's pretty quick, actually.
Well, I think we have the majority of the day, and it's we're breaking for lunch, and here it's going to be 11:30 in the morning. So I'm going to take a minute. I don't normally talk every pig that in a champion drive. I don't know that it's always necessary. And front 2/3 of our first class winner, I like a lot, to be very honest with you. And we got to reconstruct that hip and hind leg to fall into contention out here. But one that literally is front 2/3. That one's really, really neat. Red one, if you don't like that one from the outside, hop over here and just analyze hogs. Take away the fact that she's a little dull looking. She's a red belted hog. That one covers basics. That's the type that you can go home, make a sow out of her. She's square, she's sound. She's a very, very nice hog out here, and I don't want to discredit her because of that. She's not as bold in her center rib as what we have in third and fourth place gilts or third and fourth class winners out here. But that one there, I can make some better livestock because of her feet and legs. I do appreciate that. Blue one's eye-catching. Boy, that thing's elegant. Front 2/3 of her skeleton is extremely, extremely good, and I think that's extremely fun to watch her. I actually think for her size, she's heavier bone than our last class winner. She's very, very pretty up front. She's not as long and level through her hips. She's not quite as fluid as what we have in the belted gilt that we're going to conclude with. She, however, is bolder through her forearm and chest plate than when she comes right at you. And I do appreciate that gilt extremely, extremely well. I love the elegance up front. The last class winner a young lady has is one that's comfortable. I think for her size, I wasn't born yesterday. I got a son that plays the games as hard as anybody. Yearling gilts are getting showed at times. I'm not calling this one yearling. I think this one's pretty darn youthful, and I could be way, way wrong. But her bone column reads that. Her head doesn't read to be an extreme old one. And I think that one puts together balance and feet and legs really good. She'll be our champion.
Champion crossbred gilt shown by Olivia Wechter.
We bring in the real good-looking one that's extremely stout here, that gets a little shorter in her hip compared to our champion. She falls right into the mix, and if she doesn't fall into the mix for you, she's, I would say reconstruct just a little bit. front 2/3 of this one's probably the best hog we've seen here out here in this ring. I want to reconstruct her back third ever so slightly, and that's the reason we use the gilt over for champion. It's still extremely close out here, and there's one hit me extremely hard at Class before. The blue one's going to be reserved.
All right, so you've got Olivia Wechters with the champion and reserve going to Brody Barker. So you've got two females that are. All right, we're gonna take about a 45-minute break here for lunch. So thank you guys, and Doug, I appreciate you for coming sitting with me, and
Appreciate the opportunity.
we'll get somebody else in here for the second half of the show, but we're gonna break and thank everybody for watching the first half of the Decatur County 2023 Swine Show.